What is it my goals are? My goals are to establish housing solutions and minimum provision for people who come from circumstances like my spouse and I did, so that people are not trapped with abusers. They're not trapped with family that hurts them. I wish that somebody had conceived of the notion of tiny homes back when my spouse was still alive, before we bought our first house. I never considered that we would be living in a world where there would be such adverse conditions socially or environmentally that would lead people to have a need to be mobile or to potentially relocate from their homes temporarily because of natural disaster or violence in the community or other uprooting factors. But more than that, the consistent factors that are in place are economic stress and the resulting family stress that creates, as well as other social problems that cause people to need to leave their homes. We didn't have a family we could rely on, my wife and I. We didn't have anywhere to go. We had to work ourselves nearly to death just to have shelter and food and insurance. When I met her, she was working 70 to 80 hours a week, and I was working about 50 hours a week. And we were on our own. We didn't have children or any other people that we were responsible for. And to have to work that much just to survive and pay for a car and other living expenses is just insane. My goal is to make it so that people who are having to flee from violence or trying to escape from abusive relatives and being dependent on those people have a place to go. And they don't have to worry about those people retaliating against them, using the authorities to try to hurt them. I wanted to establish a shelter network for people affected by such circumstances. And as time goes on, I'm going to get into sharing what those circumstances are that affected us more and more. But those shelters need to be self-sustaining. They need to have their own solar and wind and water supplies and a waste management system. They need to be fully self-sustaining. And there's such a need out there for housing and places for people with abusive backgrounds to go. That's the reason why it's such a focus for me. My entire life, I have sought safety and social support, and it wasn't there. I worked very, very hard for everything that I had. And on a recurring basis throughout my life, spanning decades, people, both in my family and in the community, criminally victimized me to take the things that I had, to hurt me, to threaten me. And I'm a survivor. I survived, but it didn't come without cost. I didn't have anybody to show me how to live. I didn't have anybody to advocate for me or protect me, because the people that were around me were not good people. And that wasn't my fault. People lied to me about their intentions. And I don't want anybody to have to be vulnerable to such people again. I don't want anybody to have to be trapped in dependency on predatory, violent, deceptive people, whether it's their family or it's people in the community. That's why the shelter network is one of my biggest goals.